Hello my dear students, how are you? Hope you all are doing good at your home. So today we are going to start a new chapter for class 9th, and the name of the chapter is Plant and Animal Tissues. So are you excited to learn more about the plant and animal tissue? Let's begin in this chapter. So let us find out some topics that we are going to discuss in this chapter. So we are going to study only about the plant tissue. Okay, we will discuss about the meristematic plant tissue, then we will discuss about the permanent plant tissues. Inside the permanent plant tissues we will discuss about the simple tissues just like parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Then we will discuss about the complex tissues just like xylem and phloem, and rest of the topic we will discuss in the upcoming videos. But before going into the depth of this lesson, I would like to discuss some basic things about the cell, because this topic is also related with the cell which we have studied in our previous video, because tissues are the group of cells. Okay, so let's discuss some the basic point about the cell or cell theory. All living forms, whether plants or animal, are made up of cells. This is the point of that has been taken from the cell theory that we have already discussed in our previous video. Some are made up of only just one cell, and the organisms are called the unicellular organism. Okay, while others may have numerous cells, so that kind of organism will called as the multicellular organism. In a unicellular organism, a single cell can perform all the function. That is why cell is also known as the structural as well as functional unit of life. However, in a multicellular organism, different group of cells perform the different functions, and this phenomena is known as the division of labor. During the formation of multicellular organisms, as the cells grow, they assume different shapes and characteristics which help them to keep or to perform the specific function. This phenomena is called as the cell differentiation. We will discuss the term cell differentiation in detail, because this term is much more related with this chapter. Okay, during cell differentiation what happens, generally the cells of the same shape and characteristics group together and start to perform a common function. This group of cell is called a tissue. So what is the definition of tissue? Tissue is defined as a group of cells having similar origin and structure and performing a common specific function. So there are several kind of tissue in the plant body as well as in animal body, but in this chapter we are going to study only about the plant tissue. Okay, so plants are made up of the different types of tissue. They have been classified into the two main groups. What are these? These are the meristematic tissue as well as the permanent tissue. Okay, meristematic tissues are composed of the cell that are undifferentiated, okay, and in a state of active cell division. What is the meaning of undifferentiated cell? Means all the cells are of same type. They are not different from each other. Their structure, their shape, their function, all the things will be the same. So that kind of these cells will be called as undifferentiated cells. So these cells remain present inside the meristematic tissue, meristematic plant tissue. And the next point, all the cells of the meristematic tissues keep on dividing. So they are continuously dividing cells. Okay, while on the other hand, permanent tissues are composed of the differentiated cells, mean different types of cells. Their structure, their function, their shape may differ from each other. Okay, and these cells already have lost the power of cell division. Both types of tissues are further modified into the various types as given in the upcoming table. So here is the table. Okay, so plant tissues primarily can be divided as meristematic tissue as well as permanent tissue. You already know that meristematic tissues are the group of undifferentiated and continuously dividing cells. On the other hand, permanent tissue contains only the differentiated cells and the cell division power is not present in them. They are incapable of cell division. Meristematic tissues are further categorized on the basis of their location as apical, lateral and intercalary. We will discuss in detail about each kind of meristematic tissue. On the other hand, permanent tissue, on the basis of the type of cells they have, they can be divided as simple permanent tissue as well as complex permanent tissue. Simple permanent tissues are made up of only one type of cell. On the other hand, complex permanent tissues are made up of many types of cells, okay, more than one type of cells. So simple permanent tissue, on the basis of their structure as well as function, they can be categorized as parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma or chlorenchyma. We will discuss about each of these kind of simple permanent plant tissue in detail in this video. On the other hand, complex tissues can be only of two types, xylem as well as phloem. You are well aware about the function of xylem and phloem. Xylem is responsible for the transportation of minerals and water in the plant body, as on the other hand, phloem tissue is responsible for the transportation of food from the leaves to the different part of the plant body. Next, meristematic plant tissue. Meristematic plant tissue, also referred as meristem. As you already know that the meristematic tissues are composed of or consist of undifferentiated as well as actively dividing cells. So all the cells are continuously dividing in the meristematic tissue. They are present, and because they are continuously dividing cells, so they remain present at the growing point of the plant body and bring about an increase in the length and breadth and width, means they provide the length as well as thickness to the plant body. Structure, okay, what type of structure they have? Meristematic tissue. The cells may be spherical, oval or polygonal in shape. Cells have thin cell wall made up of cellulose. So plant cell always covered by a thick layer which is made up of cellulose, and that layer is called cell wall. This is the main characteristics of plant cell. Cell are compactly arranged without intercellular spaces. So intercellular spaces generally does not present in the among the cells of the meristematic tissue. Each cell have a large prominent nucleus. So this is the main characteristics of eukaryotic cells. Cytoplasm is abundant and vacuoles are either small or absent. Okay, here keep this thing in your mind. Usually plant cell have the large and prominent vacuole, but here the cells of the meristematic plant tissue either have the small or the vacuoles are absent in the cells of the meristematic plant tissue. Location. Based on the location, the meristematic plant tissue can be categorized as apical meristematic tissue, lateral meristematic tissue as well as intercalary meristematic tissue. We will discuss about each of these tissues in detail. So first, function, meristematic tissue. Meristem have the actively dividing cells because the cells present in the meristematic tissues continuously keep on dividing. Hence, they continuously produce new cells and are responsible for the growth of the plant. So they provide growth in aspect of length as well as width. Apical meristem bring elongation of root and stem. Hence, they increase the length of the plant, while lateral meristem increase thickness or girth of the plant in diameter. Okay. On the other hand, intercalary meristem increase the internode length. Hence, the stem they provide the stem elongation. Here you can see that the meristematic tissue is present at the tip of this bud, at the tip of the growing stem, at the tip of the root, because they are continuously dividing tissue, so they always remain present at the tip of the different plant body parts or structures. Okay. Differences between meristematic and permanent tissue. As you already know that the cells of the meristematic tissue have the capability of cell division. On the other hand, the cells of the permanent tissue have lost the power of cell division. Meristematic tissue have not attained a definite form and size because they have the undifferentiated cells in them. On the other hand, permanent tissue have attained a definite form and size because they have the differentiated cells in them. Okay. The meristematic tissues are always living because they contain only the living cell. On the other hand, permanent tissue may be living or dead based on the type of cells in them. The meristematic tissue have the undifferentiated cells, and these cells form all type of permanent tissues. On the other hand, the permanent tissue have the differentiated cells which carry out the specific function. Let me tell you one more important point in this chapter, that if a certain part or a specific part of the meristematic tissue lost the power of the cell division, that part will be called as permanent tissue, because that part will in future will behave as a permanent tissue, because all the cells of that area become differentiated now and already have lost the power of cell division. Vacuoles are either small or absent in the meristematic tissue, while in the permanent tissue they have the cells of the permanent tissue have the large vacuole, which is the prominent feature of the plant cell. The cells of the meristematic tissue have the dense and abundant cytoplasm in them, while on the other hand, cytoplasm in the cells of the permanent tissue is less, and they are remain covered with a thin layer around the vacuoles. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the permanent plant tissue. Permanent plant tissues are formed of many by the differentiation of meristematic tissue. Permanent tissues are classified as simple as well as complex based on the type of cells they have, which could further be of the various types as shown in this flow chart. So permanent tissue, based on the type of cells, they are classified as simple tissue as well as complex tissue. Simple tissue always contain only one type of cell. Okay. On the other hand, complex tissue may have more than one type of cell. Simple tissue may be further categorized as Parenchyma, Collenchyma as well as Sclerenchyma. On the other hand, complex tissues are of two types, Xylem and Phloem. Then you know them better. Okay. Now first, simple tissue. Simple tissues are composed of one type of cell. As you already know that the cells are structurally and functionally simple because they are the same type of cell. Simple tissues are classified into the following types: Parenchyma, Collenchyma as well as Sclerenchyma. We will talk about each type of these tissues in detail one by one. So first we should discuss about the parenchyma. The structure of parenchymatous tissue: the cells are isodiametric in this kind of tissue, means all the cells always have the equal and expanded sides. Okay, cells could be oval, spherical or polygonal, but the size and structure of the sides of the cells will always remain the same. So that is why they are called the isodiametric in shape. Okay, the cells of this kind of tissue, parenchymatous tissue, are the large cell, but the wall is thin, and these cells are always living. This is the main basic character of the simple tissue. The cell wall are made up of cellulose. Okay, this is the main feature of the plant cell. Cell contains cytoplasm a distinct nucleus and a large central vacuole. On the other hand, the next point, the intercellular spaces are often present between the cells. Here I would like to show these spaces with the different color. These are the intercellular spaces that I am going to mark with the sky blue color. So in the simple permanent tissue, there are the intercellular spaces remain present. Okay. So on the basis of the material filled in these spaces, they can be further classified into different types that we will discuss soon. Okay, next, location. Being the basic fundamental or ground tissue, parenchyma is widely distributed in stem, root, leaves, flower and fruits. Okay, so basically they may be found in each and every part of the plant body, present in all soft part of the plant like in the center and the cortex of the stem and root, as well as in the mesophyll cells of the leaf. Function. The prime function of the simple tissue, parenchyma tissue, is the food storage, okay, and provide the temporary support to the plant. Potatoes are mainly composed of parenchyma cell, storing the starch in them. You can test the presence of starch by doing the iodine test. Okay, parenchyma cells of the leaves contain the chlorophyll and are called the chlorenchyma tissue or chlorenchyma cells. A particular type of cells, if they are having chlorophyll pigment in them, then these cells of the parenchymatous tissue will be called as chlorenchyma cells, and they start performing the process of photosynthesis because they have chlorophyll pigment in them. In aquatic plants, parenchyma cells have star-like air cavities between the cells. They are called arenchyma. If the cells or all these intercellular spaces are filled with the air spaces, so then the same tissue will be called as arenchyma. The air trapped in the cavities make the plant lighter in weight, so they can easily float on the surface or inside the water. Okay, next, collenchyma. Now we are going to discuss about the collenchyma structure. So collenchyma tissue consists of living cells because they are simple type of tissue. Cells are somewhat elongated and appear circular, oval or polygonal in a cross section. Here you can see the cells of the collenchymatous tissue. They are polygonal in shape. Okay, they have the many edges or many corners they have, so that is why they are called polygonal cells. Cells have thin cell walls, but corners or intercellular spaces are thickened with the deposition of cellulose and pectin. There is no intercellular spaces. There you will not find any type of intercellular spaces that were present in the parenchymatous tissue, but here the intercellular spaces are completely absent. Cells have a distinct nucleus and dense cytoplasm. Cells often contains chloroplast. Okay, so chloroplasts are the plastids that is responsible for the process of photosynthesis. Location. Collenchyma is present below the epidermis in the dicot stem and in the leaf stalk or the petiole of the dicot leaf. They are absent in the monocot stem, root and leaves. So this is the main differentiation between the monocot plant and dicot plant. So collenchyma tissue is always present in a dicot plant. They will not present in the monocot plant. Function. Collenchymatous tissue provide the mechanical support and strength to the plant and leaves. They contain chloroplast, so that is why they can carry the photosynthesis to manufacturing sugar and starch. Next, sclerenchyma. Okay, so these are the special type of simple permanent tissue. Why this is special? Because all the cells in the sclerenchyma tissue are non-living cells. Why the cells are non-living? We will discuss. Okay, unlike parenchyma and collenchyma, on the maturity, sclerenchyma cells become dead and without any protoplasm. Why they become dead? Because all the cells of the sclerenchymatous tissue remain covered by a waterproofing substance which is called as lignin. So due to this lignin, the cells become dead. Okay. Cells are long, narrow, thick-walled and usually pointed from both of the ends. They are the fiber-like in appearance, hence they are called fibers. Cells are thick due to the deposition of waterproof substance which is called the lignin. This is the main characteristics of sclerenchymatous tissue. Okay. Intercellular spaces are generally absent. Cells are connected through the simple pits. Pits are the places where the lignin is not deposited. Here you can see that this is the intercellular channels. These are called pits or plasmodesmata. Here the lignin does not present. Okay. Sometimes here and there in plant are present spherical or irregular shape highly lignified cells called the stone cells or sclerite. We will differentiate between the fibers and sclerites by the diagram. Okay, location found in the stem, roots, veins of the leaves and the hard covering of the seeds and nuts. Function: main function is to give the mechanical support and rigidity to the plant along with the strength, give flexibility to the plant and withstand various strains like strong winds and jerk because they provide the rigidity and mechanical support. Fibers being strong and flexible are used in the manufacturing of ropes and textile. You must have seen the coconut husk. So these are made up of fibers, sclerenchymatous tissue. Jute and coir are obtained from the fibers. Sclerites import the toughness to the seed coat and gritness to the fruit pulp. Okay. So here the main component of the sclerenchymatous tissues are these two, fibers as well as stone cells. You can see the structure of fiber here in stone cells. So both are present inside the sclerenchymatous tissue. So fibers are elongated cell pointed at both the end. You can see the pointed end, both the sides occur in bundles. They remain present in bundles. They can be spool like fiber and used for making ropes, give mechanical strength to the plant body. On the other hand, stone cells are broad, spherical or irregular shape, scattered in loose group, cannot be spun like fibers, give hardness to the seed coat or gritness to the seed coat. Now we will do the comparative study through this table among the various kind of simple permanent tissue, just like we have already studied about the parenchyma, then we have studied about the collenchyma, and last we have discussed about the sclerenchyma. All these three types of tissues are the simple permanent plant tissues. So this is the comparative table. So as you can see that in the among the cells of the parenchymatous tissue, intercellular spaces are present, but the wall of these cells are very thin. But on the other hand, no intercellular spaces are present here, as well as the wall of these cells, the wall of the collenchymatous cells are thick as compared to the parenchymatous cells. Okay, here we can see that in this sclerenchymatous cells, all the cells are dead due to the deposition of lignin, okay, which is a waterproofing material. So this is a kind of comparative study among these three types of simple permanent tissue. So kind of cells: in parenchymatous cells, living cells, in parenchymatous tissue, living cells are present. In collenchymatous tissue, also living cells are present. But in sclerenchymatous tissue, a mature sclerenchymatous tissue have the dead cells. Okay. Shape of the cells: in parenchymatous tissue, cell shape of the cells is isodiametric, oval or spherical, where in Parenchymatous tissue, shapes are elongated in shape, appear circular or oval in cross section. As well as in Sclerenchymatous tissue, cells are long, narrow, appear angular in cross section. Okay, cell walls. Now we will discuss about the types of cell walls present in these type of simple permanent tissue. In parenchymatous tissue, the cell wall is made up of thin cellulose layer. In collenchymatous tissue, cell wall is thick and it contains cellulose as well as pectin. And here in sclerenchymatous tissue, cell wall is highly thickened and deposition of lignin is also present, which is a waterproofing material. Thickening, very thin, okay, evenly thickened at corners, evenly thickened or all the sides. Okay, intercellular spaces. Intercellular spaces in parenchymatous tissues are often present. In collenchyma as well as sclerenchyma, there is no intercellular spaces are present. Nucleus and cytoplasm. Okay, so nucleus is present in the parenchymatous tissue. Nucleus is also present in the cells of the collenchymatous tissue, but here in the sclerenchymatous tissue, nucleus is absent because dead cell lose their nucleus. Okay, so empty lumen, because sclerenchymatous tissue contains only dead cells. Vacuole, here vacuoles are large, maybe small or large, and here vacuoles are absent due to the presence of dead cells. We have already discussed about the location and function of these tissue, so we are not going to repeat or we are not going to discuss it again. Okay, next. Now we are going to discuss about the next category of the permanent plant tissue, which is the complex permanent tissue. As you already know that complex permanent plant tissue contains more than one type of cells. That is why they are complex. Okay, simple tissue only contain one type of cells. That is why they are simple. But here these tissues complex because they contain various kind of cells. So complex tissue consists more than one type of cells working together as a unit to perform the specific functions. There are two main types of complex tissues. You are well aware about these tissues. These are xylem and phloem. Okay, together they constitute the vascular bundles. That is why they are also known as conducting tissues or vascular tissues. Xylem. First we are going to discuss about the function of xylem. Its structure. Xylem, commonly called as wood, is composed of four types of cells. Okay, what are four different types of cells? Because it contains four different types of cells, that is why it is comes under the category of complex tissue. What are these types of cells? Tracheids, xylem vessels, Xylem Parenchyma and Xylem Sclerenchyma. Let me tell you one thing, only Xylem Parenchyma are the living cells, other cells are dead cells. Here only Xylem Parenchyma is living, while tracheids is non-living, vessels are non-living cells, as well as Xylem Sclerenchyma are also non-living. Okay, so keep this point in your mind. Tracheids. Tracheids are the elongated tubes like dead cells, as I already told you, with lignified walls and tapering ends. Vessels, series of elongated tube like dead cell. These are also dead cells with lignified walls placed end to end with end walls dissolved. Okay. Xylem parenchyma, they are only living cells. They are only living cells present in the xylem tissue, have thin cell walls, help in the conduction of water and also serve as the storage of food. Okay, xylem parenchyma, fiber like elongated dead cells. These are also dead cells with tapering ends and thickening cell wall. Location, xylem is found in the vascular bundle of the plant, in the root, stem and leaves. Wherever the water is required or necessary, there will be the xylem tissue present. Okay, function, the main function of the xylem tissue is to conduct the water and mineral upward from the root to the stem and to the leaves. Being dead, thick and lignified, they also give the mechanical strength to the plant. Next, this is the structure of different types of cells present in the xylem tissue. These are the tracheids. These are the cells that have the tapering ends, both the sides. These are the pitted vessels. Okay, these are the xylem parenchyma cells, which are the living cells, and these are the xylem fiber, elongated cells, dead cells. Okay, so these are the dead cells. This is also the dead cell, and this is also dead. Only the xylem parenchyma is living. Next, phloem. Phloem is the next type of complex permanent plant tissue, and the structure of phloem. Phloem is composed of 4 types of cells. Just like xylem, it also has the 4 cells: sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Here only phloem fibers is non-living, while all other cells are living. Sieve tubes are living cells, companion cells are living cells, phloem parenchyma are the living cells. Only phloem fiber is non-living cells. Okay, first talk about the sieve tubes, main component of the phloem. Okay, these are formed of living cells. They are long tube-like structure formed by end-to-end fusion of the cells. Cell contains cytoplasm, which is continuous with the sieve element above and below through the pores present at the end wall of the cells. Okay, end wall, which pores is called the sieve plates. Okay, so here you can see that this is the sieve tube structure, longitudinal section of phloem, and these the porous structure are called the sieve plate, and in these sieve plates there are the numerous pores present, which are known as sieve pores. Okay, on maturity, sieve tubes do not contain a nucleus but have the cytoplasm and are living. Next, companion cell. Here you can see that these are the companion cell, these cells in between. Okay, these cells are the companion cells. So companion cell attached to the each sieve tubes is a thin walled elongated companion cells. It is a living cell. These are also living with a large elongated nucleus. It helps in the sieve tubes in the transportation of food material. So they work like the companion. They help the other cell, other component of the phloem tissue. Phloem parenchyma. Thin walled living parenchymatous tissue, main function is storage and transportation. Phloem fiber, thin walled, thick walled, dead sclerenchymatous fiber, because they are deposited with the lignin. Location: present in all part of the plant, in stem, root and leaves, wherever the food is prepared or stored. Okay, found along with the xylem in the vascular bundle. Function: conduct or translocate the prepared or synthesized food material from the leaves to the various part of the plant for storage and growth. So here we have discussed the different components of the phloem. So here is the sieve tube, sieve pores, sieve plates, companion cell. There is the parenchymatous cells. Okay, these are the phloem fibers. Next, there are some differences between the xylem and phloem. Xylem conducts water and mineral from the root to leaves. On the other hand, phloem translocate the prepared or synthesized food material from the leaves to the storage organ, just like stem, fruit, root, etc. Vessels. Vessels are the main conducting cells of the dead cells. Okay, these are the dead cells. Here sieve tubes are the main conducting cells, which are the living cells. Third difference is xylem consists of dead cell except xylem parenchyma. On the other hand, the phloem consists of living cell except phloem sclerenchyma. Okay, xylem provides the mechanical support and phloem does not provide the mechanical support. Here the diagrams, again you can see the same diagrams through which we can see the comparative differences between the xylem and phloem. So this is all about plant tissues. In next video we will discuss few more topics. Till then, stay home, stay safe, keep learning. Thank you so much.